Hey everyone, Brian here with DIY Outdoor Life. Today we're going to be taking a look at the lock and roll hitch, the lock and roll coupler. This is a system I've been using for over a year now. I have well over 10,000 miles on this setup. I've probably attached and detached this trailer over 100 times. I have no affiliate connection with lock and roll, but I did promise you guys that I would do a review of this system that was new to me about a year and a half ago, once I had some experience on it. So that's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna give you guys the pros and cons and kind of review whether I think this is a good buy or not. And right as soon as this video is over, I'm gonna do a maintenance video with a couple modifications. So I'll post that video as well. I'll link it up here just in case some time has passed. But for today, I wanna take you through this hitch and give you the review. So let's get to it. So I got my lock and roll coupler as a package with my hiker trailer. Originally, this system of coupling a trailer, opposed to the simple ball and coupler that goes over it, was being marketed as an off-road coupling system, an off-road hitch. And that's why it became very popular on trailers like Hiker Trailer and some different brands that have the capability of getting off the pavement and doing some off-road travel. Now, in the last few years, you see, mostly driven by the customers, this is being marketed now as more than just an off-road hitch. It's being marketed as a better mousetrap. Just all in all, a better way to attach our tow vehicles to our campers. So today I'm going to show you what's different about it, what my experience has been, and try to answer the big question here. This thing costs a few $100s. So if I could do this all over again, or if I got a new trailer tomorrow, would I go with this style of coupler, or would I go back to the inexpensive, old-fashioned 2-inch ball with a coupler that goes over the top and locks? So let's get into some of this stuff today, and we'll start with the trailer side. So the lock and roll system comes with a trailer side component and a tow vehicle side component. That's the same with any style hitch, but it kind of ends there as far as similarities. Everything is different. The trailer side has the ability to swivel 360 degrees. Now I'm not gonna unscrew this if I keep doing this. It is a bearing that allows it to swivel, and this is the first place where it gives you a lot more degrees of freedom than a standard style of hitch. Now hopefully most of us will use a good range of this, but not actually have to use the full twisting range. That would imply that your trailer is rolling. But if you look on this side here, there's a pin that actually detaches with these latches. For the coupling style, there's a little crossbar here with end caps, and it's gonna sit down in this saddle. This means that your trailer is also going to have a lot more of a vertical plane. It's gonna have a lot more degrees of freedom, whether you're going over a steep knoll or traversing through like a little riverbed or a water bar. It's not gonna bind up. It's gonna allow your trailer to form a V and kind of a scoop shape here, a lot more than a standard style of hitch. Now my favorite addition here is what I call the wrist. On the trailer side, you also have this swiveling motion. And this is by far my favorite addition to the degrees of freedom that would be associated with a normal hitch. This right here, when your trailer is either in a situation where you're backing up, you're doing a U-turn, a K-turn, when your vehicle starts to push sideways across the A-frame or the top extension here on the trailer frame, this little movement here gives you a lot more options when you're trying to cut sharply. So this is my favorite as far as what's different about this style of hitch from a standard hitch. So as far as the first part of the review, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is a far, far superior style of coupling a trailer to a vehicle for an off-road situation. You see, as the trailer is moving and your vehicle is in a rougher section, rougher than normal paved roads would be, your trailer's not going to exert the same force on the vehicle. If it starts to pitch independently of the vehicle, everything's moving here so that it's not transferring force from frame to frame. That's a big difference. And in the past, for real off-road style trailers, we used a simple spindle hitch to allow some of that to take place. That spindle hitch is great for like a wood chipper, but when you're actually on the trail, everything is jerk, clunk. This is a much smoother system. So if you're into some extreme off-roading, whether it's like the Moab style obstacles, or in the Northeast, we go on some of these fire roads, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, this is a better style of hitch. But what a lot of the owners are saying, like I mentioned earlier, is that it's better for everything. So that's the real question. Very few of us actually want to drag our trailer through some of this rough terrain. So what I think a lot of people want to know is it better for simple weekend warriors going to the campground? Now, in my year of ownership, this has been a complicated question to answer. But overall, I'm going to say yes. And I want to go through the simple pros and cons and why I think if I were to get a new trailer tomorrow, that I would make the investment here to go with this same style of hitch. So for me, we have to weigh the pros and cons versus the investment that you would make in something like this. I just went to an AutoZone on the road. We're on a road trip right now. And for a couple $100, you can get the trailer side, even a high quality one, the vehicle side and the trailer side of a standard 2-inch coupler with a ball. That's been around a long time. It does an excellent job when you're traveling down the road. It's easy to couple and uncouple. Now this setup, it's like $180 for the trailer side and another $180 for the vehicle side. So it is a big investment here. It was very simple getting this with the hiker trailer because everything came attached and they just gave me this to slide into the vehicle. You can get the simple bolt-on ones that are designed to fit right where your standard coupler was on another trailer. If you have a weld-on, you use the same apparatus here. You're just gonna have to cut the welds off the other one and have this one welded on or do it yourself. Now, as far as the pros here, we talked about off-road capability. But what I notice most is that even when I'm going from campground to campground, or I'm traveling through cities, like the furthest thing from off-road capability, I can do things with this setup that I couldn't do before. K-turns after I went the wrong direction, or in the campgrounds, or even doing some mooch docking in these suburbs. I can cut them down these steep driveways, and I continue to find myself getting out of the vehicle and saying, well, I couldn't do that with my normal coupler. So that's been one of the advantages that I've paid attention to with this hiker trailer and this lock and roll setup. In addition to that, I love the visual security here. When this settles in and the latches go over and you have a simple side pin here that comes through, you know 100% that this isn't going anywhere. This is an extremely secure setup, and for this to become detached, you'd have to rip the frame apart on your tow vehicle. You know that this is not going to detach. With your standard ball coupler, it happens all the time. It happens dozens of times a year, if not more, that trailers become detached, and 99% of the time, and a bunch of people will argue with you about this, but they're wrong, it's user error. They're setting the coupler down on top of the ball, the top hatch goes in, but it's not actually securing underneath the ball. I've been towing trailers my whole life. I feel like I have a pretty good knack for seeing that on a normal coupler. But when Lucia is towing the trailer, and she tows a lot, she's towed across country, it does make me nervous. I'm always asking her to climb down on the ground, even if it's raining, to look up to make sure that that system is classed properly, because that's how they become detached. It's physically impossible for them to detach if it's down underneath and coupled. It would have to bend the mechanism. So for all these people that have their trailers become uncoupled and they swear that it was coupled right, you can simply look underneath. If it doesn't have the tolerance to slip over a 2-inch ball, then it did not break. It's not going to stretch back. Once those fail, that's it. You're going to be able to see that the inside is warped or broken. So with this style of coupling mechanism, it is really easy to simply see that it's sat down in the saddle and that the two hatches are over top and pinned. It's not going anywhere, and that's a major advantage for me that has nothing to do with off-road capability. Now, the final advantage that for me mattered, and I'm sure each person is going to have a different set of pros and cons. I hope that if you have one of these hitches, you will leave a comment that lets me know something that I missed. But for me, it's security. I see some folks spend well over $100 on those really high quality forged steel locks that go over the coupling mechanism on their trailer. I've always used one of those really cheap ones. The idea is if somebody really wants to steal your trailer, they can pull your trailer, they'll do some damage using your tow chains, they can hook up in different ways. If they're motivated, they're gonna get it. But almost everyone has a standard receiver hitch, and a drawbar and a 2-inch ball is relatively inexpensive. It's not uncommon, even as I look around the suburbs, to see almost 3/4 of these vehicles have the ball mechanism that could go into a standard trailer. So that's why people have to focus on protecting that connection to make it a little bit more difficult for someone to just pull in, yank your trailer and go. I think that this style, until it gets more popular, is going to confuse a lot of people. This is probably as effective as having like a proven industry coupler lock, because most people are not going to have this style. So they're going to be forced to chain or do something if they want to steal the vehicle. It is not nearly the same crime of opportunity as having that cookie cutter style hitch. So I don't know if that's important to you or not, but for me, it is a factor that weighs into this. I almost do nothing to secure this style of the trailer. Put something around your wheel or something, and you're gonna be more secure than most folks with that standard style of hitch. So there's a lot of advantages here. Again, the ones that make me like this setup, and I would spend my money to buy one of these again. But I wanna share some of the disadvantages that I found as well. So let's cover those and we can wrap this video up. First disadvantage for me has to deal with teaching old dogs new tricks. I've been using that style of coupling mechanism even on like ATVs since I was a kid. I know them like the back of my hand, and I'm just used to something that works just fine. So to step up to something that functions a little bit differently, even if it's higher performance and more capability, it can be annoying for some of us that are pretty stubborn. It goes together really easy. Coupling this together is just as easy, if not more easy, than your standard style of hitch. The one tip I'll give you is that, and I'll show this in my maintenance video, but I do like to lubricate things. If these catch up, I use this thing as a hammer to tap those down. That's a simple tip to keep this thing operating just as easy as your old trailer. But it is a new system, and learning new things can be annoying. It has a different feel when you're backing up, so it takes a little bit getting used to. It didn't take long for me before I really started to prefer this system. Now, the next one has to do with if you have a trailer dolly, or for me, I have a little attachment on my tractor at home for moving my trailers around. They usually just have that 2-inch or 1 7/8 ball to be able to make that connection. You're not going to be able to use those in the same way. I do like this arc jack because I can move the trailer around, and if I want to hook the tractor to it and go slow, that's fine. But what you'll find that you have to do is look for those trailer dollies that have the standard drawbar receiver. Then I can actually take the vehicle side of this coupler off, like on my tractor, it slides in and I can move this around. But if you do have one of those simple 2-wheel dollies that you're used to using, you're gonna have to look for one with the receiver hitch, because the ball is gonna be of no use to you. So I could see that annoying some people, but that's the name of the game with this stuff. So after a whole bunch of miles and a whole bunch of use, including sending Lucia out on the road for thousands of miles without me. I am much happier with this system than a simple ball and coupler, but it is a few $100, so the decision's up to you. Like I said, I have no links for you because I have absolutely no affiliate connection. I'll try to link to the Lock and Roll website. I don't think these are sold on Amazon, but if you have a trailer and you're looking to look for a higher performance setup for backing up tight spaces or some off-road capability, 100% I would get behind this. So stay tuned if you own one of these. The next video that I'll put out is going to be a little maintenance hack. We're going to make a modification, but I hope you found this helpful, and I'm looking forward to reading your feedback in the comment section. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.